In 1954, Roger Bannister did something that nobody thought was possible. He broke the 4-minute mile. And once he broke the 4-minute mile, something that people had been trying to do for the longest time, all of a sudden, lots of people started to break that 4-minute mile. So it wasn't necessarily that nobody could necessarily do it, but it was the fact that nobody had belief that they could do it. And a lot of the things that we're dealing with, sometimes they aren't solutions that are needed to that, but actually changes in our beliefs and our perspectives to allow us to complete that thing. So I want to show you how you can actually start to do that with ChatGPT and how it can help you find those limiting beliefs that you have and develop new ways of thinking about things. So firstly, ChatGPT can help you rewrite those limiting beliefs. A lot of times we don't even realize that we have this invisible barrier that's stopping us from doing something. And if you have that invisible barrier, no matter how good you get, no matter how much you're trying to push, you will not be able to get past this limiting belief. So for myself, a lot of the times I never really realized I had these beliefs until I read a book called, Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. And he talks about how a lot of the times people need those things to be rewritten. And the way that he does it is by telling stories about things like the Roger Bannister story. That's what he talked about. And that rewrote my beliefs on limiting beliefs because I realized that these things can be sought out and broken. So he talks about that all the time, that you can find those, locate those, and you can start to rewrite people's stories through that. But the fact is that we can also rewrite our own stories. If we're able to locate those things that are limiting us, then we can start to find stories. We can start to find examples of people that were in the same situations that we are in that did it anyways. And once you start to see that, you start to believe. And in order to do anything in life, you got to believe first. So with ChatGPT, you could basically go to it and say, this is what I'm dealing with. Like, I can't do this. Why can I not do this? What might be the limiting belief that is stopping me from doing this? And you can basically talk it out, brainstorm it, allow it to start to get a little bit more of a grasp on it. And you're going to start to understand yourself and what you're actually dealing with better. You might be thinking it's just this simple thing that you can't do X, Y, or Z, but it might actually be something that's on the bigger scope of it that is that limiting belief that's stopping you from even reaching anywhere. And then once you have that limiting belief and you've identified it, all you have to go do is go to ChatGPT, ask it, can you find me stories, examples, analogies that help me rewrite this limiting belief in my mind and turn it into a new positive belief? Once you can start seeing these things that you've been dealing with for the longest time in a more positive light, you start changing your perspective on them and how you're telling that story in your head, all of a sudden you start to be able to take that thing down instantly. You start to be able to have the confidence in yourself to go at that thing and to not let it stop you anymore. Secondly, you are not alone. So the crazy part is that a lot of the times when you're dealing with these things and you're struggling with these things, it can feel like you're very alone. Because a lot of the stuff that you're dealing with, whether it's limiting beliefs, whether it's anything like problems that you're dealing with, it can feel like you're the only one that really understands that. And a lot of the times that really is freaking true. A lot of people don't have your perspective. A lot of people don't necessarily know exactly what you're dealing with, or you can't necessarily communicate it the best way all the time. And sometimes you just don't want to do that. Because, for example, there's this dude that I listen to. His name is Andy Frisella. He's a very good entrepreneur. He's a very big entrepreneur, and he's a very hard dude. You know, he talks very, how it is. He talks like that. And so he said that when he was going through his process of being able to be an entrepreneur and he was growing in that, he did feel alone a lot of the times. You know, for him to say that, it caught me off guard. I was like, okay, what does he mean by that? And he said it felt like nobody really understood him at a certain time. Because he was growing and he was at this place where he was like on an island. Nobody really understood the entrepreneurship game or chasing your ambitions like that because it was very freaking tough, especially at that time. Even now, a lot of us can understand that not everybody's going to understand that perspective. And he said he felt very freaking alone. He felt very alone and he would get into some dark times during that time. But one of the things that actually really helped him is he knew this guy named Tim Grover. Tim Grover has coached Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. So during this time where he felt very alone, he would talk to Tim Grover and Tim Grover would help him understand. No, actually, he wouldn't talk to Tim Grover. He read his book. He read his book called Relentless. And this book is something that helped him understand that it's normal to feel this way. It's normal when you're going on this path that's very unique. You're going on a path that nobody really is going to go down. This is not the norm to be able to go down this entrepreneurship and to go down your own avenue like this and to create your own path. So when he read that book, he understood, okay, like this is normal. This is okay. It's all right to feel like this. There's other people out here that are just like me. And just reading that book pulled him out of that dark time. And you know, I'm sure that a lot of us have had times where we felt in this depth where nobody really understands. Nobody really is going to get us. but there might be some movie, there might be some TV show, there might be some book that you read that just speaks to you. It just speaks to you and helps you find a solution or helps you just be okay with where you currently are. Now, we add ChatGPT to that, and we're able to see that we can find those things out there faster than we ever could. Those things that are speaking exactly to you are out there in the world. But if you can go to ChatGPT and explain exactly what it is you're looking for, exactly what it is you need to be spoken to about, it can go and find stories. It can go and find voices of people out there that can speak to that thing so perfectly for you. And I think this is so amazing because a lot of us might feel like that. And if you feel like that, it can get very dangerous. But if you can have somebody that can speak to something like that, an actual real person out there that you trust, there's experts out there that have wisdom out there that can help you speak to your situation, it becomes a lot freaking better, and you're able to navigate that situation a lot better too. So thirdly, finding the right voices. This goes along with what I was just talking about with this last one, because the crazy part is that a lot of people, even the smartest, best experts, even they forget their best advice. Even they, if you were to go to talk to them on any given day, they might not be able to give you the best advice for where you're at, your mentor, anybody like that. Because there is this dude named Jeremy Oatley, and he's basically an AI expert. He's a Harvard professor. And he said that what he did is he took ChatGPT and he got all his transcripts from his books, he got all his video transcripts, and he put them into his own ChatGPT bot. And basically it took all of his knowledge from the books that he's written and stuff and is able to distill it for whatever question that you ask it. And he says that he would ask it questions for stuff and it would give him better answers than he could have given anybody at that time. Because he says the crazy thing is that even he'll go and read his books and he'll start taking notes on his books. He's like, oh, that's really good. I forgot about that. Oh, that's really good. I forgot about that. Because you're going to forget stuff. You can't be carrying around every single book you've read, every single movie you've watched, every single insight you've had, idea you've had. So what this basically is even besides that fact, but being able to put into your own, being able to go into ChatGPT and find out information that you're looking for is basically what I'm trying to say here. So you can find information that you're looking for from voices of people out there that might not even remember exactly what they were talking about at that time. So it's all these people. It's not just one person. For what you're specifically dealing with, you can go to ChatGPT and start asking it about that, and it's going to be able to give you insights from the experts, insights from people that just randomly said something that's actually super perfect for what you're dealing with. So just think about ChatGPT as your access point to wisdom that is out there. There's lots of freaking wisdom. It's all over the internet. Everything's out there. You can use it as the access point to find exactly what you need to be spoken to about in that moment, exactly how you need to be spoken to. You know, it might be able to take an insight from somebody and wrap it in an analogy from a TV show that you like, and all of a sudden you understand it better than ever. So these are just some ways to break those freaking invisible limits that you might have on yourself with ChatGPT and with AI. This is just another way of using it. I've talked a lot about being able to find solutions to problems you're having, but a lot of the times the real problem that you might be having is so much bigger than the thing that you're looking at currently. So start to think bigger, start to think about rewriting your beliefs, rewriting your perspectives so that you can start to think bigger with AI overall and start to think more positively about every situation you're in. Even if you're dealing with a freaking problem and you're kind of thinking about it negatively, think about how you could think about it positively with ChatGPT. Just ask it, how can I reframe this to think positively? And can you give me some examples or some quotes from experts, Jesus even, what did Jesus say in the Bible about this? And then all of a sudden you're gonna be able to get some insight on that thing that you're dealing with. Of course, still go dive into your Bible, but this is just an amazing way, an amazing perspective shift that I've had with ChatGPT and how you can actually use it for this. I hope you guys are able to use this, apply this. I love you. Have an amazing day, week. Peace.